All right. Welcome to today's Christmas cards painting session. How did I turn that on last time? I can't remember, so whatever. All right. That brush had blue in it. Well, whatever. Whatever. Well, sometimes you pick up a paintbrush that you think doesn't have paint in it and it still does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're here? Yeah, we're here. Let's move that brass ruler before I stab myself more than I already have. So, then we're here. So I'm picking up, it started swatching these up by color last time I was live. And really, we're just going to finish this sheet of trees. Honestly, I'm a bit bored of trees. And so once we're done this sheet, we're going to switch to a design that I have far more fun with. I haven't done... I did a variation of it for Valentine's Day. But I only did the Christmas one once last year. It was so much fun. So... the next color, or I guess water, and then the next color, which is one of my favorite new grays actually, but I find that it leans purple enough to be in this lineup of purples, even though in my actual palette it is under the grays. Hello. Then we have this very bright, it's a very different purple compared to all the muted ones that are in this lineup. that one got a bit wonky. I'm very sorry to hear that. I like being outside in trees. I actually like painting them more than being outside. I'm not really an outdoorsy person. But I do, so I realize you can't actually see the one I've just painted. Why is the block stuck to my desk? There we go. I like, there's something about both this tree design and the tiny trees that I do over on shorts that I just adore getting to do. I just love how they look. So we're on to our final row. I thought I was going to do the entire color gradient. In all honesty, I'm a bit bored of trees. This is going to be my, I think, third or fourth page of trees in a row. And I sort of need a break. So once we are done this set of trees, we are going to go and do some of the Christmas ball design that I did for Valentine's Day last year. I think I mostly did it for Valentine's Day, actually. That's when I sold the design. I sort of tested the design at Christmas last year, but I didn't actually sell any cards with the design. And then I did the same design for Valentine's Day, but with hearts instead of circular balls, and I didn't, do the bows. I feel like I need the Bob Ross Happy Little Trees for my shorts quite often. I absolutely adore doing like this style of sort of loose pine tree. There's just something about it that makes me really happy. And so I really like to paint them. They're fun, they're loose, they're just relaxing. And especially this way where you sort of get the blends of color. Every color that I've chosen granulates and so moves quite a lot. And I've done that on purpose so that, they're fun to look at. But let's see if I can get this entire page in frame. I can. And like that, I won't have to move this. But we have another one of the brighter purples, which is funny, like I don't paint with bright purple all that often, and yet I've got a lot of bright granulating purples because they come in sets and they're fun to use. I don't reach for them that often. So this is a good opportunity to, give them some love. It's also way easier to paint with a flat brush today compared to when I did it the first time. I just fell out of practice with using a flat brush. And paintbrushes are one of those things that if you get out of the habit of using them, you're sort of stuck. So I'm back into the habit of using the flat brush for trees. I will still be using the little round one for the tiny trees just because it's so much easier. But especially for something like this. This brush works quite well. This bottom edge seems to be drying more quickly than the top edge did. This, I believe, is a much darker purple. It is. Oh, that's fun. I didn't mean to do it, but I do like that quite a lot. And then let's grab whatever's next. The funny thing is I keep going, oh, whatever's next, and then forgetting that like it's really obvious whatever's next because I'm working in palette order. Or the order on this palette, which isn't actually the order from my palette. Which is presenting some interesting switches because normally those two would swap in my palette. I love pine trees. There's just something about them. I have done this in inks. This is a lot of fun to do in inks. I did an entire tiny trees just in inks. What I'm about to do next, I've done in inks both myself and then like taught a class at Atlas where one of the options was to do it in ink. I love playing with inks because these are Christmas cards and I don't know how long they're going to be exposed to light for. I don't want to do these in ink just so that I don't have to be as worried about things fading, because some inks fade quite quickly when exposed to quite a lot of light. And I just want to make sure that everything is, you know, as sort of like stable as I can make it. So while I'm not making sure everything is totally light fast, like it's not like a nursery commission where I make sure like everything is light fast, everything is free from anything that could potentially be harmful. It's not like one of those projects. This is much more about like fun colors, because especially things like gift tags, like they're not going to be exposed to light for very long. But with these, like I want to use fun colors, and then I want to make sure that whatever I use is things that should at least last several weeks in direct sunlight. So I don't think anything that I've chosen, I'm pretty sure everything that I've picked lasts for at least 6 months in direct sunlight 24/7 without fading. It can be, but with some things like this, the chromatography, like it's fun to play with and manipulate. So there's no reason not to use inks in a project like this when you know that it's not going to be exposed to a whole bunch of light. Valentine's Day cards last year, did I use inks? I used some inks. Like I use a mix, and I might use inks for some Christmas card stuff. It just sort of like depends on, I guess, my mood and like how I feel about light fastness in that moment. Because especially with this, where like you're getting that color fade, like chromatography, it can be fun to manipulate. But you just want to make sure you know what you're doing and that you're going to get a color blend you like in the end. So with this, I'm just, you know, making sure that everything is wet. Like the page needs to be damp. or you're not going to get these fun blends. And I'm also sort of using this as like a good guide to pick maybe what'll work best for what I want to do next. This is especially on that list for what I want to do next. Some of those greens are, especially this one and this one. That's on the list, that's on the list, this is on the list. But there are some things that maybe aren't granulating as much as I thought they would that just aren't going to end up on my list of, you know, colors for this part 2 of the project because they're not granulating quite as much as I need them to. So this is a color that I've just put on the wrong brush because that's supposed to be a clean brush. I do try and keep at least one brush that's clean, and that round brush I've actually managed to keep clean for many, many months. My hand tends to be too shaky to do snowflakes. So trees work pretty well because I can, when my hand is really shaky, like it just like adds to the general branchiness of a tree. Snowflakes tend to be too straight. Like the lines have to be too precise or it looks off. So I don't tend to do like snowflakes. I do add snow to my trees sometimes, and I do that by flicking sparkly watercolor on top. And I've actually got one of those cards here. Oh, I've actually smudged it. And so it just like adds a little bit. So the ground is sparkly and then you've got some sparkles. I've accidentally smudged it, so that'll get chopped off. But I don't tend to do like actual snowflakes. They just are a little bit too finicky for my hand. So I'll do these ones. I'll do a couple different splatter ones, which are harder to film, where then black line work gets done over top. These ones are actually becoming the fronts of cards. They're not becoming gift tags. So they'll get cut down to just a little bit smaller than this. They get cut down. This is 3.75 inches and I need 3.5 inches. So they'll get cut down a little bit. But then there are also some pieces that I'll just do on these cards because they're easier. And I've got a bunch of these because Jackson's provided me with 12 Legion pads in exchange for some content over on Instagram and the Shorts feed. So I will be using those for things that are maybe like more painterly. So I have done that. It works less well when you're mass producing stuff. So it works really well if I'm doing a single card. And I have one somewhere. So I did a high heel at one point that used color shifting watercolors. And it was absolutely stunning, and I don't know where it is. So it does look really cool. The issue is it's hard to mass produce that. I actually want a little bit more red over here. Yeah. So I do everything. Everything I do is originals. Nothing. Currently, I don't, like, I mass produce things like this that are in sheets, but everything's hand painted. So when people buy one of my cards, they are getting an original painting. But it might have been made in a sheet like this. Sometimes they are done totally individual, like on a Stonehenge card. And at some point during this process, I will reach the point that like those are the paintings I'm working on. But I'm currently at a stage that I'm trying to get as much product done as possible. And so I am working on the things that are easy to make in sheets that can be cut into many, many products in the end. Because this will become gift tags. This will become 2 gift tags. I think it becomes 2 gift tags, and maybe it becomes 2 gift tags. Or it becomes 3 card fronts per row. And normally I don't do them color themed. I'm just sort of like in a color theming mood. Oh yeah, I needed to mix that one out with some water. That's dark. So I think it is fun because like every piece somebody buys is an original if they buy a piece of mine. But it does take a lot of work because I don't sell prints. I guess the closest thing I have to a print other than this is my birthday card currently, which includes stamped out happy birthday rather than handwritten. But the card itself is hand painted. I just use a stamp for the words of happy birthday. All right. So somewhere on this page, there's a split. There it is. We're just gonna slide in. That Galen leather ruler. Very carefully. Very, very carefully. All right. So there's another page of trees. I quite like the color blocked ones. So now we get to do fun stuff. It does. So this, normally I don't work from a block. The only project, they're more expensive. The only projects I do on a block are tiny trees. And I wasn't doing this project on a block. The issue is I was getting smudges on the backs of gift tags, and then you have to sell them as seconds because they've got paint on them. So I made the decision to get a block, and this is a Meeden cold press. It's the biggest size I could get on Amazon, which is 15 by 10.2 inches. And it just is glued except this one little spot, and you just use a palette knife, or in this case, a ruler to undo it all. And so I'm just using the Galen leather brass ruler because it's quite sharp. It works quite well for this. And I don't keep a palette knife on my desk because I do watercolor and I don't find them. I know some watercolor artists use them, but most who use them from tubes. And I don't tend to use tubes. The question is, where is the brush I'm looking for? Because it's not on my desk. Is it still? It is. It is still on my desk from desk chatter this week. So, this is going to be quite a lot of fun. Because what we're going to do is grab a clean palette and we're going to see if this works. If not, I have mason jars. And we are going to do the design that I did last year with inks, which was the Christmas balls that were just like stamped. So all right. I let it dry for too long. Well, all right. I know for next time that this dries far faster than normal. Normally, you've got some time to work, unless you don't seem to. All right. We might call this one a test. We'll see. Let's see if I can redeem this with some more. Might. So I think I was just too daring and did too many of them. Because normally, that's an interesting idea. I wonder if you'd get a total ring. That is something to try, though. Because my plan is to do some that are like very sort of glass ball girly. I don't know, we've got a local glass artist and she does these Christmas balls in a whole bunch of colors. Like she does traditional ones and then she does them in very like girly, I guess like traditional girly colors. And so I'd love to do this page be like more girly ones because I do oh, that worked. And I'm just making sure to cover everything that I've already put down in hopes that like it'll move a bit. I don't know that it will. I think for some of these, like, they might just be too dry. We'll see. We'll see. All right. It does add a nice pop. And because they're going to get cut into, once again, they're going to get cut into 3.5 by 2.5 cards, and they're going to get lines, like, I think I can make this work. What do I want with that dark pink? I almost want something. Oh, that's fun. There is something so much fun about this design. I know lots of people use it to make bubbles, but I adore using it to make Christmas balls or hearts for Valentine's Day. Because they're all so different. Ooh. I don't know that I've got a seafoam pulled. So this is called Magenta Gray. And it's one of my favorite colors because it is so gray. Let's add, actually no, it's, I'm just gonna do a couple more of this because I wanna have a good mix of colors on this sheet, which is funny because it's being cut down into such tiny sections that really, as long as stuff isn't repeated in the same sort of 3 inches, it doesn't matter. Oh, I like that one. Let's add some more pink to this on the palette. I almost think this works better with ink. Because, or on different paper. Maybe I used hot press last time. I didn't use 100% cotton paper. That's what I normally do. That's my problem. I normally don't use cotton paper when I do this. That's my problem. Okay. We're going to switch paper for the next one of these sheets we do. That's my problem. There are things that 100% cotton paper just doesn't work for. And there is a reason that I keep a pad of 25% cotton paper around. And it's because there are some things that it just works better for. So I think I need way more balls than I think I need. Yeah. All right. I'm going to switch colors because I'm bored of this color. So let's pick a new, very girly color combination from the palette. Let's pick that. Because I adore having an excuse to use it. What else do I want? Sure, let's go there. Which is actually further to the reds than I want, but I think it'll work fine. especially in this where well, I don't know that I love that. I've never tried it with gouache. I don't actually own, how many? I think I own like 2 tubes of gouache. I own a tube of white and I own a tube of Daniel Smith wisteria. And I think that's about it. Here. So really, I need way more ones than I think I do. I want to put some more of this on the palette. I really like this one. I think I'm almost at the point of switching color combinations again. I need to start doing more of them that are half on, half off. Because I am definitely going to use the entire page to cut card blanks, or card fronts. Ah! So I put my arm in paint. I think we're gonna do one more. Because the thing is, when they get cut down, they get strings, they get bows, they get hooks. So like they don't have to be perfect now, because they're also getting cut down quite a lot. All right. Yeah, that color works well. You know what, let's go really girly. I'm gonna actually turn this because I think we're on one of our very last colors for this sheet. See, that's how they're supposed to spread, like into those pretty tie-dye balls. Do I know which color is doing that though and acting like it's supposed to? No. I have a feeling it's the White Knights one though. Just based off of, actually it might be Laura's. Laura's has a pretty soft formula. Because both White Knights and Cosmic use a honey-based formula. It could actually be either. I wish the edges were sharper on these. I don't know if it's the paper, because this is a cold press, not a hot press. And you're definitely seeing the texture on these. So I might do them on individual cards. I was just hoping to be able to produce them as sheets. And save myself a little bit of time in being able to do them as one huge thing. Really, at this point, I think if I'm considering putting a thing somewhere, a dot goes there. Because I'd like this to be my second last. Oh yeah, it's Laura's formula. I'd like this to be my second last. I wanted it to be my last, but it's not going to be my last. Just looking at how many spots I have left. I'd have to pull more of Laura's paints. I don't have her whole granulating line, unfortunately. But they do have like the right movement for the glass of these Christmas balls. Also, before somebody comes at me saying it's too early for Christmas, I know. believe me. I know. I've been doing Christmas cards since it was middle of September and it was way too hot to be doing Christmas cards. And at least now it's October and it's cold-ish. And it's, slightly more acceptable to be doing Christmas cards. And I'm being very careful because this is the section that the paper is open to the other layers. And I want to make sure that I don't get paint onto the following pages. All right, I'm gonna flip this 180 degrees. So we've got this end. So I do love doing these. We might totally change after this, and instead of doing it on celluloid paper, we might do it on black paper with shimmer paints, because there is something really fun about that. And I do have my Shimmer Studio palette next to me. I think I need to put 2 in here, at least. Flip on this page again. All right. I think this is the last one in this color. And then we'll do one more color combination on this page. And that'll be that. Oh, that was fun. Can we just sort of slot one in over here? her. Anywhere really clear that I could just plop one of these in. I got the wrong color. I meant to grab the pink, grab the purple. All right. Just give this one left. So I'm gonna go that blue. I think that's too similar. What do I have that's really bright? Yeah, I only use white gouache. we're gonna leave that there because I think anything else can be like added once I start to cut it. All right. Black paper. Shimmer water. Shimmer palette. Shimmer brush. Where are my shimmer brushes? Ah, there we go. Apparently, it's still got paint in it from last time I used it. So I've grabbed ghost colors, which I think are what I want. And this time, I'm going to do what you suggested. And sure, if you DM me them over on Instagram, I would actually love to see them because I don't use gouache that often. So what I'm gonna do is put water in this. So these are all ghost colors, so they only show up on black. But I've only grabbed the standard ones. I do have a whole bunch that color shift. So I'm gonna wet all of them. Do I know that I want all of them? No. I don't use ghost colors all that often, though I do love them, and I'd say that they get the most use on cards, especially Christmas cards, because they just add that little bit of flair that, you know, just you sometimes need. So we'll tuck that up there. Oh, when you see how shaky the hand is. All right. I might try stamping the other side of this. I don't know that this works. I don't know that this works. That's sad. I was hoping it would work on metallics. And it doesn't seem to. So... I was really hoping I could do metallic balls. Okay. Okay. A little test piece. I love that I chose a ghost for this that is not going to show up. a darker pink. And then let's sort of our base. Okay. Does that work? I think we might be reaching a stage that I have to do them all individually, but I think that might work. Thoughts? Do we think it works? Because if it does, I will go and grab a stack of those cards and start to do those individually. The other option is there's blue. This is just becoming a test card at this point. Because actually, that one doesn't look awful. It was just really hard to do because it doesn't stamp. So, and I'm being annoying and not letting these sit for long enough because you're supposed to let shimmers sit for 3 to 5 minutes with water on them. I know this. I've worked with small brands long enough to know this. I just want to test out this idea and don't feel like waiting. Oh, this one doesn't pick up color nicely. Ignoring the fact that this does not pick up color nicely at all. Yeah, that's... So this is trying to stamp the metallic. And really, I think the issue is that that circle, for whatever reason, doesn't stamp. The other one does. And so I do think it is possible to stamp the metallics. It just takes a bit of effort. All right, I'm not against that. All right, well, let's go and see. I've got a third pill bottle in the bathroom that I've been using for cleaning pen nibs. Let's see if that one stamps. Otherwise, my next smallest circle is that, which I think is too big. So let's hope that that other pill bottle is flat and that I can just bang out a whole bunch of those circles. It feels flat. It doesn't. There's a chip out of it, but I can work with the chip. I can work with a single chip out of it. Let's go back to our playing with stuff sheet. That would involve going upstairs to where my hair stuff is. Actually, I like that one as well, which is sparkle with stuff. I can English. That is sparkle with metallic. Sparkle with matte. I swear I can English today. which I don't mind. All right. Ah! Which stamp's better? Oh, the bottom stamp's better. Okay. This is gonna work. This is gonna work. Ah! There is something so much fun about ghost colors, knowing that when you put these colors on white, they wouldn't show up. And that you're seeing this magic only on this paper. These were, out of all the handmade watercolors I ever tried, like ghosts. Ghosts are what secured my heart in the handmade watercolor world, honestly. There was no going back once I discovered that ghost colors existed. And really, they are the perfect thing for like holiday cards. Last year, I used them to add like Christmas baubles onto Christmas trees because you can see them on white under very specific light. We are going to do some very silver baubles, or very gold baubles, because I've got a very pretty gold ghost. Actually, I've got two. There's something so magical about these paints. It's paints like this that remind me why I fell in love with watercolor and non-traditional watercolor. I am in awe of the people that can do traditional watercolor, but I would much rather spend my day playing with paint in non-traditional ways. And the nice thing about these is that they all color shift, these ones. So depending on the angle that people have these on their mantle, they're gonna look totally different colors. Personally, I think that's super fun. I'd say these days most of my videos are fountain pen videos, but most of my playing is in either ink or like non-traditional watercolor. Like things like sparkly stuff or neons, so these stuff all glow under black light, like, or whatever the small shop I'm working with is coming out with at the time, or testing. I would like something really gold. That works. This one is called Pure Gold, and I think that falls under the category of very gold. It is very gold. I think I could probably do an entire page just in these gold ones. And I might. So you'll notice that I'm not actually adding the strings to any of these, and that's because I don't know how I'm going to position each individual card. Some might be vertical, some might be horizontal, and so I'm not sure. Gold on black does never go out of style, and I think for Christmas balls, it's like the perfect color combination. Like, those just look so much fun, and I'll probably, you know, add some extra gold. And I've got a couple different golds. There's just something about this pure gold, which I also don't think is a color Laura still makes, that is just so much fun. And so all of these are becoming, currently I'm just doing panels that'll become 2.5 by 3.5. At some point, if I have time, I'll do larger panels, because I do larger cards, but small cards tend to sell better. Larger cards tend not to sell as well, and so I'd rather put my time into the smaller card panels because those sell significantly better. Which I always find funny because they're so much smaller than a like traditional birthday card or traditional card you'd send, and yet I think I sell they probably sell at least 20%, more than 20% actually. I probably sell for every single big card, I probably sell 15 or 16 small cards. So there's just no point in doing big cards when it's like this and I'm trying to churn out a whole bunch of cards to sell, because I automatically know that they won't sell as well. Yeah, the next page is just going to be gold baubles. I wish I had a silver color shift. So that's the panel size that I put on a 3" by 4" card. So these sheets that I'm all doing will all be cut down into 2.5 by 3.5 panels, which will then get framed on the front of cards. So I am sort of mass producing my front of card panels in big sheets because it's slightly easier. It's actually not that. It is easier. It's not significantly easier, but it's easier enough that it's worth it for me to do it like this. Yeah, so they get mounted. I'm not going to do another. We are going to do a sheet that's just yellow coming up because I adore that yellow. I wish I had a red. This is orange though. I know this is orange. I want that. Is it that one that I want? Yes, it is. So because these will all be going on cards, I will be putting, some of them will get mounted on cards with 1/8 of an inch foam squares. So they all get, they all either get foam squares behind them or raised gel pads behind them. It just sort of depends on what I feel like at the time and what I think looks best. So tiny trees tend to get mounted with the gel ones because they look better, like closer. But something like this will probably get matted with the foam squares underneath, just because I think it's more fun that way. But we'll see. I might switch it up. I don't frame them normally, or do a frame around them normally. I normally just leave it as the card, but we'll see what I end up doing this year. Really, it's mostly time dependent. Like I have until November 2nd, which really means I have until November 1st. And I'm away the weekend beforehand for Scriptus. So that loses a week or weekend. So we'll see sort of where I am by that point, card production wise. And that'll sort of help figure out where I am. Though, in all honesty, it's going to be like every school project ever where the night beforehand I'm still probably matting things onto cards. Mounting things onto cards. Because sometimes that's just how life is. It's funny that the color I've got on my palette right now looks green on the glass and is that pink on the paper. Which, proves how fun ghost colors are. I am going to do a page of them just gold. And we might... I'm going to do a page in gold. We're going to do a page in silver. And we're going to wet all of those. So there's 3 more pages. So gold, silver, I guess 4, because I'll do one in pure gold as well. Because those are all different golds. Also, if you buy hand-painted cards, do you like when the artist signs the piece of artwork? I tend not to. I sign the back of my cards. I don't sign the front piece. Which, I don't know. I've never, I can count, I think I can count on one hand the number of fronts of pieces I've ever signed. It's just not something I really ever do. Even with commissions, I normally sign the back. But then I see other artists signing the front of their cards, both ones that they print and like other ones. And so like, if you buy cards from artists, do you like when they're signed? Or do you prefer them to be signed on the back? Which is how I normally do mine. I normally sign the back of the card so that somebody, if they want to know. Yeah. That's the thing, like they're so small that it just seems odd to sign them. But then I know some people that like sign the front of everything. I am just not a signing pieces sort of person. Which is funny, like even pieces that I've spent, the barn that I did last year that I posted a video of, like the first version of that barn took me 18 hours to do, from the sketch and then the painting of it. And I was still anxious signing it. Where are we at? No, we need some more. Sapphire. Maybe not. It's not wet. I wish it was. What's that? I don't want cotton candy. You. Oh, you're Aurora Borealis. You're fun. How I'm making decisions at this point about colors. What's fun? One's not quite circular. For me, it's because they're so small. And they are, I don't know. I've always held the philosophy that they're, you know, there are commissions that I've 100% signed, no issue. But then there are also commissions that I just don't see the point in signing because, you know, they're little and they're cards. Like, I don't know that I see the point in signing all of the Valentine's Day or Christmas cards that I do on the front, because at the end of the day, they're going to be signed or they're going to be stamped on the back with my branding. And I think that covers me pretty well. But I know it's a sort of contentious topic, especially in the sort of handmade product world. That's true. Yeah, honestly, not something I consider. But, you know, if, you know, someone wants to, that's a great way to use your time. That would actually be really funny. I forgot I put my palette on the ground, my matte one, and I've just put my foot in paints. It could be worse. At least the paints I'm using today aren't, you know, terribly staining. And they'll come off, unlike some of the stuff I use. Yeah, I'm pretty good about not getting paint on my clothes. My issue is my desk is about 20 inches by 18 inches. So I really only have enough space to use one palette at a time on my desk. And so whatever paints I'm not currently using, so in this case my matte ones, can't be on my desk. And so currently my matte palette that I was just using is tucked on the floor underneath my desk. But as you just heard, then I, put my foot literally in paint. So I have 3 of my toes now covered in different purple paints. So I guess I could, figure out which purple's the easiest to clean off your skin. It's not quite circular anymore. And then we are going to abandon this one for a little bit and go and do just a gold or just a silver. I think probably a silver, because that silver has absorbed all of the water I put on it. Right. There we go. Let's grab a piece. When it comes to silvers, I only have one that I'm currently using. So this shall be easy, because I've only got one option. I am going to clean the residue off of this. I'm going to clean this just so that I've got a section to put silver into. And then everything was sparkly, which is the downside of working with metallics, so that everything is now sparkly. All right. Realize that this whole page is becoming silver, and I can stamp them all out. That is the perk of everything becoming one color. This is just a fun background. If I didn't, need it to be Christmas balls, that would be a really fun background that I'm going to have to do again for something else. All right. Every year I say I'm going to paint my own tissue paper for Christmas, and every year I don't do it. But I always think it would be so much fun. So we're going to do some that are like totally silver, I think, and some that are just like this, where we're sort of playing with the silver. Actually, I like the full silver better. Normally I'd be using 100% cotton watercolor paper, which they do make in black, Legion does, but because these are just becoming Christmas cards, I don't care enough to do that. Well, it's also cost. Black watercolor paper tends to cost more. And it's one of those times that it doesn't make sense to spend that much more on black paper. Whereas this is black believe this is black Bristol card from Strathmore, which handles watercolor fairly aggressively. I use it for watercolor fairly often. I would say of all the metallics, I use silver the most, clearly, because my Cosmic Creations Sterling, this is not Sterling, this is 17, nope, this is 1925. Got a lot of silvers from Laura because Sterling has been discontinued for a very long time and I'm on my final pan of it. I should see if for the gold I can stamp out in water somehow, because the silver did splatter a little bit, which is going to be fine because like there's going to be lines, there's going to be, and normally I do my lines and stuff in silver. In this case though, I'm going to use black hollow because I can. They would look cool as cutouts. Actually, that would be really fun. I normally, because everything's normally framed on white card bases for these, I might do them on red card bases. It would be interesting to do them as cutouts. That is an interesting idea because I do have a way to do that. I've got a cricket, but I've also got a circle punch. Oh, and the hand shook. All right, and this bauble becomes slightly larger. Yeah, I could add red string or wire. Normally I tend to keep them pretty low key. But I think once we're done these ones, we're gonna go back. Ha! I just checked the ones on white that we did forever ago. Some of them are still wet, which is funny because that paper was drying so quickly that I couldn't move the color that we had on the page, and yet the balls themselves are still wet, which is slightly annoying. I'm also gonna have to order more of this silver from Laura because I'm almost out. Or I've made a serious dent, and by the time I finish Christmas stuff, I'm going to be out. It's probably the better way to phrase that. So, real string or wire. I read red string or wire. Real string would be fun. I tend to keep my cards very much like watercolor of some sort. So in this case we're using metallics because I feel like it, which the traditionalists don't approve of. But honestly, I don't care. I love this color. This color is sort of like liquid chrome. It's not... I have one specific paint from brand that is like actually liquid chrome. But this is a pretty good close second. And far less expensive. Also, because I didn't do anything for Fall Fair this year, it feels like I sort of need to do stuff for the Christmas Bazaar. So. And unlike Fall Fair, I can stream my Christmas Bazaar content. Normally when I'm doing Fall Fair stuff, I can't stream any of it because you're not allowed to post your entries online until after the fact. So normally you guys have to wait to see Fall Fair content until after I already know what I've placed. And so if I haven't placed well that year, it's not as fun to put out that content because I know how I've done, but we were away this year and so I didn't actually submit anything. My hand is covered in silver. Alright, I think our next one's going to be gold. And I'm almost thinking about doing it on white again. We might free a page so that we can do gold on white. Mostly because this black stuff is really annoying to work on. And this one has a ton of little shimmer flecks on it. And is starting to really annoy me. And if it wasn't going to really, really annoy me to leave this page how it is, I would be walking away from it now and taking a break. But that will stress me out. So I'm going to finish this page and then I'm going to do something else. Maybe I should go back to trees. Yeah, maybe I should go back to trees. But trees I have to tape out the page for. I don't know that I want to tape out a page. It's so not circular. It's definitely hard to hide a shaky hand painting circles. Once again, I've just put my toes in granulating paints. Honestly. I just need to move that palette from under my desk. It's in a dangerous spot. All the Christmas cards as friends. So these ones are going to be hollow, the strings. Same with the hooks. And I want to do the gold ones on the white paper. But the question is which gold? Well, I'm going to do a bunch of different golds. I've pulled 3 golds. But for now, I'm going to do I want to do Midas or do I want to do pure gold? Oh, that's the bottom of the pan. I'm definitely going to need another pan of this for more. So, people often wonder, do I ever finish pans of paint with all the pans I have? The answer is yes. Not quickly with everything, but especially like basic things like gold and silver and primaries. I go through fairly fast. So I'm on my 3rd pan of Buzzy Bee from Cosmic Creations, which is my go-to yellow when I'm painting in general. It's PY74. This is not my go-to silver from Laura. My go-to silver from Laura was actually discontinued, and this was the silver Laura sent as like the closest replacement. And it's pretty close. It's a chrome silver, which the old one wasn't, but color-wise, it's pretty close. And then gold, I go through fairly often. My favorite gold is from a shop that no longer exists, and so I sort of ration that gold because I won't be able to get it again. But other golds, probably go through a pan of gold every 6 to 8 months. This pan of silver I got in... Did I only get this pan of silver in I might have only got this pan of silver in May, and it's October. So, didn't last very long. And it's still got some paint on the sides, but I am on the bottom. So it will get finished with Christmas cards. But honestly, there's a certain amount of satisfaction in using up a pan. And in this case, it's using up a pan of something that I wasn't sure I was going to love when I got it, because it was replacing a silver that I adore, which is sterling. And clearly I do, while it's not sterling, I do love it enough because I've burned through it very quickly. Hasn't lasted very long at all. And because this is just going to be sitting here for a little bit, I am going to fill the pan entirely with water, because you sort of get to a stage that you've got paint on the sides but no paint at the bottom, which is where we are right now. And I want to be able to use this pan up all the way. And to do that, I need to sort of melt it off the sides a little bit. All right. Well, there's the bottom of a half pan. That only took I want to say it mid-October. All right. And now we're going to free this block. Which is still wet, so really I should be leaving it be, but really should be leaving it be because I've just ripped it. Really, when you remove paper from a block, you want it to be dry. But I only have one, because blocks are more expensive, I only have one in this size. We'll just work around that. All right. Midas or pure gold? I want to do Midas. Not that there's anything wrong with pure gold. And pure gold's going to be the next one. But I'm feeling Midas because Midas has a little bit of glitter to it. Like there's a bit of a hollow tint to it. You can see, like it's got a little bit of a sparkle to it on top of the normal like sparkle in the paint. So, I'm feeling Midas right now. I just did it again. Okay, that pallet's moving. We're moving that pallet. That pallet cannot continue to live there because every single time I stretch out my leg, I put my foot. Oh, now we're sticking paints to the underside of my desk. This poor, poor old desk that was treated very nicely in a previous life and gets tortured by me. All right, we're gonna put these behind me. We now also get to see which purple paint removes the best. Okay. I almost want to do a mix of the two golds. Because we've got like non-shimmery gold and we've got, or they're both shimmery. We've got one that doesn't have glitter flakes and we've got one with glitter flakes. Actually, where's the test page? Oh, I love that. Okay. I love the spooky gold mix. So we've got pure gold and we've got Midas. As the mic hits the camera. All right. I like these gold ones. There's just something, about the gold. I think gold Christmas balls are just so classic. And I think these are the last sheet we're going to paint tonight. Mostly because it's Canadian Thanksgiving, and I'm sort of been slacking on Thanksgiving prep. I disappeared down to the studio to paint hours ago. I love these gold balls. It's rare that I love a design as simple as this, but there's just something about the gold. Especially with the addition of the ghost gold that really just like adds that sparkle of like sort of a magical, mystical, is it there, is it not gold? love these. I might do a full set of these for our Christmas cards this year. There is just something so pretty about the gold. And like I have other card designs that I like. But I don't know, there's something about this one that I really like. And I enjoy when our Christmas card design is something that I genuinely really enjoy. And it can't be tiny trees this year, because that was what people got last year. So. All right, let's continue. And that one isn't round. So let's make it roundish. Honestly, Ratatouille is one of my favorite movies. It's such an underrated Disney film. And I love it. Or it feels underrated. There is just something about the gold. It's fun. Oh, we're so close to being done the final page for today. That is amazingly cool. I remember in the early days of COVID when somebody did the Ratatouille the musical. I was so excited to get my tickets for that when they did it as, I think it was a fundraiser for the Actors Fund when they actually put it together as a thing. That was so much fun. And once I cut these, I'm fairly sure that I'm going to need to add a few. But I don't want to overcrowd in some places. And so I'd rather just add the bits that need to be added once the page is cut. Oh, we're almost done. The nice thing about the metallics is that they seem to move quite a lot afterwards, and I can, stamp so many more of them. Four left. I've only just realized that it matches to my two newest fountain pens. Only one of their videos is out yet, though. I have to wait till this week to see the second video. One left. Then we're gonna call it for tonight because I'm tired. And Thanksgiving prep. there we go. So I have now done today a one in blues and purples, a chrome on black, a ghost on black, and finished trees. That's actually fairly good. So we're going to tuck this palette away as well. And we're going to call time there for today. So that's all of those done. So 3 hours to do 1, 2, 3, 4. The equivalent of 3.5 big sheets. Honestly, that's not that bad. So I'm quite happy with that. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know which design is your favorite. I really like the gold balls. I'm surprised at how much I like them, but I do really like them. So I think I'm probably going to do more of them as long as they look good once they're cut into individual sheets. So this is where we're going to call it for tonight.